Jamie, let me give you an idea how scary it gets. I have a friend that I've known for over 40 years. Okay. He was my closest friend. He has a son with special needs. And he's convinced that Donald Trump, quote, mocked a disabled reporter. There was a poll in 2016 before the election. The number one reason likely voters gave for not wanting to vote for Donald Trump is because he allegedly mocked a disabled reporter. Yeah. The story was because Donald Trump said there were people who were cheering the fall of the Twin Towers. And to be sure, there was a reporter who wrote a story about that. When the people asked the reporter about the story, he backed away from it. Yeah. And Donald Trump mocked him backing away from it, began shaking like this. I don't remember, I don't know.
So more like mocking him in like a cowardly backpedaling
There's
way.
a website called Catholics for Trump. And there are several videos where Donald Trump has used that gesture to mock himself, to mock an able-bodied person. And furthermore, the reporter in question, his name is Serge Kovaleski, doesn't go like this. Right. He has an atrophied, he has some sort of disease. He has an atrophied arm, but he doesn't shake like this. He speaks very calmly and very evenly. So he wasn't even doing an impression of him. And I sent my friend a 3-page letter, Jamie, with a link to Catholics for Trump to show him that he's wrong. Yeah. And my friend, by the way, had a perfect score in his SAT. Yeah. Close to a perfect score on his LSAT. He's brilliant. And it didn't matter. And I had an epiphany. I found out that people who hate Donald Trump did not want to unhate him. It had nothing to do with intelligence. It was all emotion. And this guy was invested in disliking Donald Trump, invested in this story. It is not true.
So I have a question. You are...
And we ended our friendship. He ended it.
So what I was going to say, what I respect you for that interaction is you reached out, right? And you
3-page letter.
You wrote the 3-page letter. Mm-hmm. So I guess my question is, I've known you for a half an hour, or however long.
Seems longer. Yeah. Seems a lot longer.
Fake news, everybody. I've been pitching them bits. You seem like you've been very kind and intelligent, and I've learned things. My question is then, how does someone, and this is like an honest question, is how would you, if we're trying to avoid civil war, which seems like, I don't know, a priority, how do you, especially as like a public figure, kind of try to not turn into that same tribalized left? How can you, or is it even your responsibility, try to get your fans to reach out?
Right. But he's not. I mean, quite literally, if his whole point is that he reads the facts to figure out what's true, right, and someone else doesn't, you don't need to avoid doing it. You're just not doing it.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, do people like us, and I'm even counting myself being on this show, do we sort of need to go above and beyond to, instead of just attacking, try to get the other side to see the facts in a compassionate way, like you attempted with your friend, and then it's on your friend that he didn't respond.
The problem is one side, and I'm generalizing obviously, one side, the left, believes the right is not just wrong, that they're bad people, if not evil. We believe, or at least I believe, people on the left are ill-informed and need to be better educated. But I don't dismiss them as evil, bad people. I have a recent friend, left is all get out, name is Jackie. Yeah. And Jackie hates Donald Trump and believes Donald Trump engaged in an insurrection, a coup. So I sent her an article written by Alan Dershowitz, who is a left-wing professor, voted twice for Obama, but been very fair and very even on this issue. I do know. And he talked about the 9/11 committee, how unfair it was, how one-sided it was, that Donald Trump in his speech said, I want you to patriotically and peacefully go over and make your voices heard, on and on. Very, very well argued. I sent it to her, texted to her. Yeah. She texts back right away and says, this is garbage. And I wrote back and I said, you could not have possibly read it in that time that you text back to me. So she refused to even read the information. What do you want me to do? Open a window and just start yelling out of the window?
Liberals are very fast readers.
This is where I want to push back. I think this is a mistake that the right often makes. The saying is the right thinks the left is ill-informed, the left thinks the right is evil. In fact, I think the left is the example of the banality of evil. And it doesn't matter if it's left or right, any kind of historical context. Let's just call it blue and red or A and B. Right. Whatever it is, when you've got libertarians, post-liberal, disaffected liberal, conservative, Republican, whatever, on one side, disparate ideologies, people disagree, having a conversation, and then you have people who are driven by emotion, won't even bother to read the facts. You're dealing with a cult. You are dealing with the banality of evil. They are engaging in evil actions to evil ends for no specific reason. They don't need to have intent. If a person is, if a person grabs a weapon and thinks they're a good guy, and actually I'll tell you a story right now. There's a viral story where a guy murdered his neighbors because he said they were using telepathy to mind control him. yeah, he's crazy. He committed an evil act, but his intent was skewed by nonsense. That doesn't change the fact that what he did was evil. So I'm not going to call them ill-informed. I'm going to say they're engaged in outright evil.
Okay.
Well, I do want to.
That's fair enough. My mother was a lifelong Democrat. My brother, my best friend, was a lifelong Democrat. I never considered them to be evil. I considered them to be ill-informed. And I worked on them, and I got them to vote for George W. Bush twice. My mother voted for Ronald Reagan. They wouldn't change their party because that was emotion, but I was able to reason with them. So I don't dismiss all of them. But you're quite right. You take up somebody like Jeff Zucker, the former head of CNN. He's on tape. Project Veritas has people on tape at CNN, producers, saying that in our 9 o'clock meeting every morning with Jeff Zucker hates Donald Trump, has a vendetta against Donald Trump, and he wants us to do anti-Trump stories to the exclusion of other news. That's evil. That's villain.
Right.
That's villainy.
Well, and to your point about your family, I feel like my job here today is to stop a civil war instead of promote my gigs. To your point, I'm really glad you brought up your family, because what I was going to say, and I'm not disagreeing with you guys a ton, but I want to say that Twitter liberals, Antifa liberals, media liberals are far different than, and same with conservatives, than the people I meet at jiu-jitsu, who we're all hanging out. We don't care about political parties. Maybe people on the left are like, yeah, I'm liberal because like I don't care if gay people marry and I'm against the war. And that's kind of all they know. They're not on Twitter. They're not trying to stir stuff up. They barely know about January 6th, nor do they care about it.
I had a meeting with a friend in New York, and when I tried explaining to him that Democrats tried to legalize abortion up to the point of birth, he said that's impossible. That can't be true. Oh. And I said, you are actively speaking out, this person with a high-profile platform, in defense of their bill without having read it, because you can't believe that I would be right at all, even though you didn't read it. That's the banality of evil. When people engage in evil actions and it's become a normal process.
What I don't understand, though, man, is like, I'm an artist, which means legally I have to hate myself. So I cannot be a special case. I cannot be the only person that when in a room with you guys hears something I don't know and go, oh, damn, I never thought of it that way. Except I feel like there are other people out there like that.
During the debates, Bernie Sanders was specifically asked, do you believe that there's a point beyond which an abortion is murder?
I don't know. Are you gonna?
And he basically said no. And when I was running for governor, the Texas so-called fetal heartbeat bill got passed, and I was asked over and over again about abortion because I'm pro-life. And I said, will you just ask my opponent, Gavin Newsom, just one time, at what point does he feel that pregnancy has gone so far that it would be then become murder? And they never ask him. And his position is up to, including the moment before birth.
Although, Larry, I can say if we disagree on everything else the rest of the show, we can agree and become friends on the fact that I, too, do not like Gavin Newsom.
Mm-hmm. He's got great hair, though.
He's so handsome.
But he looks like American Psycho. You know?
Yeah.
Regarding the banality,
it's the basements in the body.
It's come up a few times about accusing people of being the banality of evil. Tim, you have actually called me the banality of evil multiple times, but I think that like
we're never stuck.
We're supporting slavery in China that's getting us this cheap technology. Like my cell phone was only $600 instead of $11.50 because it was made by Chinese slaves. We have factory farming. Like that's not evil. That's evil to do that to animals.
Yep.
But we live that. That's part of our existence. We are the banality of evil as Americans. We are fascist, and that's just part of the game right now.
I disagree. So my point on the banality of evil is an individual who's taking direct action that is evil. This is an interesting point. If you've ever watched the show The Good Place.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows.
They make the point that life has become so complicated, it's impossible to get into the good place, basically heaven, because no matter what you do, you're doing something bad. You buy some flowers for a friend to cheer them up. Well, those flowers have pesticides, which is killing bees, which came from slave labor. I can understand the complexities of human life on the planet. And like you mentioned, sweatshop labor and all those things. But there could be people who are actively opposed to that, speaking out against it and trying to stop it. The difference is when you cheer on and vote for intentionally FBI raiding, that being weaponized to go after people and destroy. That's very different.
It concerns me because at least I was taught like that's not good. You don't want to support the evil that you're trying. You don't want to use evil to destroy evil. It doesn't work like that. You become the evil you're trying to end. But I don't know if everybody was raised like that. And if they weren't, then maybe they're banal. Is that the right word?
It is now, buddy.
We're talking about two different things, though.
Banal.
We're talking about two different things, though. I agree with you. There is an issue that we all kind of just churn along, not realizing that the computers we have are made by people who are, Foxconn Labs when they're committing mass suicide and things like that. Those are all really bad. And for a lot of people, like I immediately stopped using iPhones when I found out about that. Granted, a lot of components still come from those factories, but I was like, I didn't know. And when I learned, I said, I have to change that.
I can't get mad at you for the green bubbles anymore.
But when it comes to what's happening with what, Larry's talking about, trying to let them know, they say, I don't care. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.